All right, y'all, we're going to take a look at this boudoir photography business. Going to check out its local search and its city search, see if either of them or both of them or any of them got BSS. All right, so we're out here in the GBC universe again, where we bring declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, aka full spectrum intent capture. More on that, pinned video, home video on the profile, whatever. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got our intent spectrum here, in white, high on the left, low on the right. And if a boudoir photographer is rising, they're probably bringing in peeps from the entire intent spectrum, from high intent to low or no intent. At least bringing them in awareness, even if they're low or no intent, awareness that we exist. And if we have a boudoir photographer business that's falling, they're probably missing chunks somewhere here on the intent spectrum. So here we talk about BSS. We're way over on the left side. Highest intent peeps. This is social search and Google search. I search on social networks for boudoir photo shoot in my city. See on Google search, the highest intent keyword searches. And over on the right, that's our other sister brand, different profiles, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. So we're talking about BLCS. Talking about BLCS, kind of a niche problem there, niche pain. And right now we currently only deal with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand a month on boudoir Facebook ads. And that side on the right, that's the lowest intent peeps. Interruption ads, Facebook, Instagram. They have no intent for boudoir right now. Next, moving on, we got BSS, boudoir search sameness. That's what it is. That means a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. So 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. If we've got 0 slots, we're basically dead, because we have, we've already talked about approximately 80% of Google searches never reach page 2. They're page 1 only searches. So approximately 80% of searches, aka the bulk of the market, is page 1 only. So from page 2, we're basically dead. Page 1, that's if we got 1 slot on page 1, that's still not enough. There's there's 10 organic slots. There's if there's 9 other boudoir photographers, everyone else got 1 slot, then a buyer's just clicking down all of page 1, basically never going to go to page 2. Open up everyone's website, going to compare, contrast, price shop all these boudoir photographers. And as a result, we're still basically invisible because we're being price shopped so much. So we know that 0-1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. Common, but it's not normal. Dude, it's not normal to have those few slots on page 1, when Google actually wants to give us way more to those that want to take them. So 0-1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. Is actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. Those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation, which basically everyone understands, but also newly, the false belief of page 1 equality, which basically nobody understands yet. So market saturation, that seems like every week someone get a new iPhone, we see them throwing out their Google My Business profile, their website. Now they say they do boudoir, they're a boudoir photographer. Or they get a new camera, they're posting in the mom groups, they also do boudoir photo shoots now. So that's market saturation. Also, COVID, tons of new peeps came into the marketplace because nobody could work, people lost their jobs. But again, everyone's got a phone with a great camera, so bringing in a ton more peeps to become boudoir photographers. Now, the false belief of page 1 equality, this is a big one. This is what I've seen is the #1 killer of boudoir photography businesses. This is where everyone, well, if everyone believes it, kind of automatically, implicitly, this is where, they're kind of like, everyone gets either 0-1 slots on page 1 of Google. And so, I had, a slot number 8 on Google. A boudoir photographer ranked above me. I got kicked down to slot 10. And, it is what it is because every boudoir photographer gets either 0 or 1 slots on Google. And there's basically nothing I can do about it. This is 100% incorrect. Google actually will give as many page 1 slots as possible to those who actually want the page 1 slots. And I know this because I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 Google organic search in 10 days. So I know Google gives these slots out to the people that want to take them. And as a result, if people believe this page 1 equality is true, then they never kind of break out of the box and look for solutions. And, well, there were no real good solutions before, but now we got one, which you'll see that in two pictures from here. So we also know that boudoir photographer with BSS, with boudoir search sameness, is a disappearing boudoir photographer, a DBP. So micro universe taking shape, a disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by the 2 horns of market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. Thankfully, though, we finally have a solution. We know that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S cubed methodology. And how do we know that? Because we invented it. And so it works exactly as it says. S cubed methodology, social search saturation. We saturate social search with our highest intent, highest demand keywords for highest intent buyers, what they would be searching on Google. To saturate social search, so we show up for all those. It's kind of like the backside of the Andes Mountains, all these small streams and rivers, then flow into the large Amazon River. These then eventually all flow into Google, page one Google search. But the initial upstream is ranking high, page one social search across all the four major social networks. Now, S-cube methodology, this is the only thing that I've seen that can successfully, for boudoir photographers, it's the only thing I've seen that can successfully fight back against market saturation. Literally the only thing. And as a result, we, basically as a result, that's the only thing that gets us results relatively quickly. Because the only other thing I've seen actually successfully outcompete is market saturation having a brand. But dude, that takes like 5 years minimum, more like 10 years. So because AI is coming taking people's jobs, we ain't got 5 or 10 years anymore. We got to move ASAP, ASAP, ASAP. And S-cubed methodology is that vehicle. So, imagine we got 1 million boudoir photographers in Omaha, Nebraska. We're one of them. Everyone's got a website saying they're boudoir photographers. So everyone's ranking there. And as a result, we are competing with all these boudoir photographers for page one. So we say, you know what? Screw this. The only chance we got of competing here is cranking S-cubed methodology up to the max. And luckily, I was working with no one else in Omaha, so you could actually hire me. So we crank it up to the max, and let's say we are successfully, we're ranking the first 300 slots, page one of, search in all these social networks. Well, not even page one, dude. That's like a lot more pages than page one. But the first 300 slots, we're taking them up, and as a result, we are there's a small rivers that flow into page one Google. So we're taking the first 300 organic slots on Google as well. And there's 10 organic slots per page. So we're literally taking the first 30 pages, all the organic slots from them. And so anytime anyone in our city searches with a wall photographer with those high intent keywords, they are basically anywhere they look. They're basically only finding us. Now, for organic search, they could go to page 31 to essentially start finding our competitors. But dude, we already know approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. They're page 1 search only. So who the heck's hitting page 31? Basically nobody. So as a result, even though there are 999,999 other boudoir photographers and us competing against us, since we captured social search and Google search, the highest intent keywords are basically the only one that's being found. So whose business is the only one growing as a result? Our business. Out of all million boudoir photographers. So that's what we mean what I mean when I say this is the only thing I've discovered other than brand that can successfully compete against market saturation. Compete against and still grow the business. Now, once we treat BSS with S-cubed methodology, we have page one visibility. And boom, we get an instant bonus benefit, an initial benefit, which is for every new slot we acquire on page one, we're actually kicking a competing boudoir photographer off page one, effectively making them invisible. So this is awesome because, hey, we're getting more slots on page one. We get, more of, out of 10 attention because there's 10 slots, increasing our attention. But actually, we're decreasing the number of boudoir photographers we're competing against because we're kicking a new one off every time we rank another, we get another slot on there. That's an initial benefit initially right off the bat using S-cubed methodology. Now, page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. BSV, we have a GBC minimum here, recommended minimum of reaching 3 out of 10 slots on page one Google search because basically everyone else will have 1 slot. So if Google's recommended us 3 times, well, buyers are going to be like, well, what the hell? Why is Google recommend this person? They must be good. They may even click to us, only us, and not even look at the other options on page one. But in addition, there's a tiny chance another boudoir photographer has 2 slots on page one. So if we got 3 slots, we're out competing everyone that has 0, 1, or 2 slots on page one of Google search. Now we also know that boudoir photographer with BSV, with boudoir search visibility, is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. So we got our full micro universe here. A disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by the 2 horns of market saturation and the false belief of page one equality. Now we use S-cubed methodology. We finally have a solution. Thank the universe. page one visibility. We achieve page one visibility, we become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. Now my results. So myself, purely using SQL methodology, I'm going to rank for the term BLCS boudoir. And come down to organic. Organic results, we got organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Organic slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. And slot 10 is also me. And I did this in 10 days. I went from 0 out of 10 slots, Google Organic, page 1. And I got up to 9 out of 10 slots, Google Organic, page 1, in only 10 days. So these are my own results utilizing S-cubed methodology. Now, main event here, main course, main feast. We're going to see if this boudoir photography business has BSS for its local search, Louisville, North Carolina, or its city, kind of close to city search. All right, so first the local search, Louisville, North Carolina. And let's see, go down the organic slot. So they got one. They got, man, this actually looks a lot different than I'm used to. We got 2, we got 3, we got 4, we got 5. All right, awesome. So 5 out of 10. Great. So we do not have BSS for the local search, and we are hitting the GBC recommended minimum of at least 3 out of 10 page one slots on Google. So awesome for that. Now we'll go to the city search, kind of the closest city nearby I could find. Let's see. All right, we got 1. And all right, it looks like that's it. That's it. We got 1. So we got local search, did awesome. City search, we got 1 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google. So we do have BSS, boudoir search sameness, and we did not hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 page 1 slots on Google. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer and you've done your local search, your city search for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in your city or in your area, and you've had BSS for one of them or both of them, or you did not reach the GBC recommended minimum of at least one of them, of 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google, and you're seeing the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief. So you're seeing, hey, we can actually take as many page 1 slots on Google as we want, and it doesn't require Google ads, which at max, so Google PPC will give 1 slot on page 1. And you stop paying for that, the momentum dies. But with this SQ methodology, there is some persistent momentum using this strategy. It's not infinite, but there's definitely way more momentum than running ads where the momentum dies instantly. So you're seeing SQ methodology is the way forward, the solution you've actually been looking for, but you didn't know existed. You're liking the initial benefits, more slots, page 1 on Google, organic, some momentum there. You actually like even better kicking competing boudoir photographers off page 1 on Google, making them be disappearing boudoir photographers. So maybe they simply leave the market and stop competing against you, and you stop getting price shopped against them. Lowering the number of peeps we're price shopped against. You understand how market saturation works. Yeah, new gear, new peeps coming in, kind of natural, trickle in. But you're also looking ahead and you're seeing, man, AI is going to is already taking people's jobs. It's going to be taking more and more people's jobs, which is actually going to flood the market way more than people getting new gear. It's going to flood the market with peeps. Actually, people need to earn money. So they lose their job, but they still got to earn money. Way more boudoir photographers coming from AI taking peeps' jobs. And as a result, you're like, all right, you like those 2 first initial benefits, but now you need kind of a a short-term or short in the future benefit. And as a result, you're looking for, you're realizing you need to kind of fortify all your slots on page 1. Actually have so many overflowing links that Google wants to have on page 1, but you're already taking up so many slots on page 1, Google literally cannot place them there. Like so many backup links, kind of like fortifying the levees down in Nolens, Louisiana, because that city's below sea level. And literally prevent current boudoir photographers from ever ranking on page 1, and also hopefully preventing any future boudoir photographers that come from AI taking their jobs from ever ranking page 1 on Google. Keep them on page 2 or deeper, relegate them to perpetually disappearing boudoir photographer status, perpetually invisible to approximately 80% of buyers. So you're liking all those benefits, and you want to achieve page 1 visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility, because you need to achieve these things on your path to becoming the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. And you're also thinking more ahead of AI stuff, and you're understanding that SQ methodology is actually creating kind of these invisible thematic keyword columns connected to your brand, kind of out of cyberspace, kind of invisible out there. Like columns of the Parthenon, or hub and spoke model of a bike tire, or your business, your brand, your website name. That's all kind of the hub where all the spokes meet. All these invisible thematic keyword columns are the spokes sticking out. And this actually, you understand that this is actually building AI mindshare in the back end. And when we build this up every single day, successfully executing SQ methodology, we're actually increasing the probability that we get shown up right here, AI overview, super premium slot. We cannot even buy this with advertising. So it's organic from Google. This is probably better than any ad out there, honestly. It's kind of like it's like a super stamp of approval from Google. And you're seeing kind of every time executing SQ methodology, we're adding to the invisible thematic keyword column we're focusing on, or building a new one, kind of building up this back-end AI brain space momentum. And you're liking that for the AI overview. And also you understand that this will happen for the AI search apps. So ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. Every day we successfully execute SQ methodology, we're increasing the probability these AI search queries surface us. And guess what? We are, Google's still approximately 90% of global search, but dude, AI search is growing every single day, literally every single day, as people ditch standard search more and more. And last time I did a boudoir search for boudoir photographers in a city, ChatGPT, dude, it brought up literally three. But I went, Google, Facebook searching, and I manually for how many boudoir photographers are actually in its city. Dude, it was like 60. So I'm like, dude, we gotta get at least one of these three slots by any means possible. And now we've learned, okay, SQ methodology is the way to achieve that. And you're also seeing my current plan is to only work with one boudoir photographer per city. So you're seeing, man, signing on, work with me on this. You are actually excluding all your other boudoir photographer competitors from using this strategy for as long as you keep using it with me. And so you like the sound of that, you can kick off your competitors, relegate them to, disappear boudoir photographer status on Google page 2 or deeper, essentially have a strong case to prevent any peeps that have lost their job due to AI from ever being seen on page 1 on Google. Like the aspect of building brand approximately 8x faster. So then, then kind of everyone else is done because we're showing up on so many surfaces all at once and continuously doing it. And you actually want to be able to have super well-known brands and continue using SQ methodology as like the ultimate superpower. And on the flip side of the converse, you're seeing one of your boudoir photographer competitor signs on with me first, then we're actually getting all those benefits for them and not for you. And then page 1 on Google kicking you off. Page 2 or deeper, you're effectively becoming invisible to approximately 80% of buyers in your city that are page 1 searchers only. And you're losing those slots, getting forgotten about. And also we're building up this AI mindshare momentum on the back end for the AI overview and recommendation for AI searches. So in order for you to compete, you'd have to A, rederive SQ methodology, or actually derive it in the first place for yourself. B, you'd have to successfully execute it equivalent to us every single day. But if you did that, you'd simply maintain the gap that we've already built ahead of you and honestly make no forward progress. So you'd actually have to outwork us 2 to 3x every single day to regain momentum on us, pull that AI mindshare towards us, towards you, away from me and your competitor. Kind of be for us to be recommended for AI search or AI overview and AI search apps. And you probably would not feel 100% confident putting in that much effort because you would never know if you've even derived SQ methodology correctly in the first place. So then you'd be like, why even put effort into it? And also that'd probably be like 80 hours per day. So you're seeing all that and you're like, screw that. I've decided to be the first mover in the city. I've decided to hop on SQ methodology first out of all of my peeps. And so if that's you, shoot me a DM when my DM's open for new patient intake. The hospital is currently closed, but when we do open the hospital for new patient intake, shoot us a DM and we will see if you qualify for using our S cubed methodology.